Each year in the United States, thousands of major crimes go unsolved. When the case has gone cold and police have nowhere to turn, they seek assistance from the public. This is a program dedicated to solving these cases. This is Crime Stoppers Case Files.
Every year, crimes go unsolved here in Southern California. Loved ones are often left waiting. I'm Joy Benedict. As a news reporter, I've covered countless homicides and crimes, and I know that sometimes the victims of these crimes are forgotten almost as quickly as the headlines fade. So tonight on Crime Stoppers Case Files, we take another look at these crimes still lingering unsolved in our communities. Let's get right to work. It's August 22nd, 2010. 23-year-old Christian Alcantar, known by his friends as DJ Flash, he was loading up his equipment after a neighborhood party. That's when he was shot for no apparent reason. Here's Christian's story.
Ever since Christian was born, we were never away from each other. He was always by my side. And we were a tight little family. I only have my daughter and Christian. My daughter's the oldest. She was 2 years old. And the moment that he was born, she took over. And my daughter was a second mother to him.
Him and I were attached to the hip. We were always together. Every time they asked us, oh, Marlene, you want to go do this? Oh yeah, only if Chris can come with me too.
I would tell her, always take care of your brother. And she took that very, very serious. They were always together.
Christian's mother and I we've been together for 8 years. So I knew Chris as he was growing into being a young man. And he was a remarkable young man. Always there for his family, friends.
All his friends loved him because he was unique. His personality was unique. He made everybody laugh.
Christian was very sarcastic. He was very funny. He always made me laugh. And him and I had this language with each other where we would talk to each other in movie quotes. And I don't know how we understood each other, but we did. And I could laugh and laugh and laugh for hours.
He was the laughter of a party. He was surrounded by friends. And he took friendship and family very serious. It was very, very important to him to be united. And he always said that family came first.
Chris and I had different personalities. I remember once I went to a concert and I asked him, do you want to go with me? Mind you, this was like a metal concert, heavy metal concert. And he goes, okay, I'll go. I go, I bought 2 tickets, I have no one to go with, can you go with me? All right. He went and he was wearing an Atlanta Falcons football jersey to a metal concert where you see these guys with long hair and tattoos. And I remember we got there and he goes, oh, Marlene, we're in your neck of the woods now. And I started laughing, I started cracking up. But he was a good student, he was a good friend, and I remember him just always being there for me. If I needed something, he was there. I had my daughter, and he would watch my daughter for me. I had to work, I had no babysitter, and he would tell me, don't worry about it, go to work. I don't want you to take her out, it's cold. I'd rather you have her here and I'll watch her. He was only 17 years old when he started watching my daughter. So he was there changing diapers, making bottles, and he watched her until she went to preschool.
He grew up being a really happy boy and satisfied with what he had. And he liked working hard to get and achieve whatever he wanted to. He didn't want to get anything free. He wanted to work for it. He grew up taking school very serious. He was a straight A student. He was always in the honor roll. He loved school. He was always loving life and taking that challenge of what he wanted to do next, and he accomplished it. Whether it was sports, dance, he challenged that until he got it and became good at it. And everything that he wanted to do, he became #1.
My brother started DJing with friends. One of my cousins had a little DJ system, and he started playing around with it, and he liked it. Little by little, he started buying his equipment here and there. It's very expensive, so he would buy one thing at a time. And when he had his whole thing already, he started going out and trying to make money. You know, we don't work during the summer. We both work for schools, so we don't work during the summer, and that was basically what he was doing, just trying to make some extra money and just doing what he liked to do and listen to music and enjoy the music and play it for other people to enjoy the music. And that's what we would do every Friday nights. My brother, my mom, and I, we would sit on Fridays and dance and listen to music. I have so many videos of him dancing with his friends, with me, at weddings, at parties. And he would, wherever he would hear music, he would start dancing. And basically that's what you see in the videos, is him just dancing at any random place where he can dance. He was everything to me. He was, whenever I needed him, he was there.
He just loved life. And to him, life was very important. And he always had a saying, don't ever hold a grudge. Don't ever hold a grudge, because you never know what's gonna happen tomorrow. And live life to its fullest. Live life like if today's your last day. And always be happy. And that's how he lived his life.
Working in the school as he did, being a coach. He had his degree in criminal justice. He had a bright future ahead of him. And going and helping a friend 1 mile from his residence. 1 mile. You're supposed to be safe around where you live.
Welcome back to Crime Stoppers Case Files, and we now return to the murder of Christian Alcantar.
Chris meant the world to me, everything. Good uncle, good brother, good son, good friend. He was my best friend.
On August 22nd of 2010, deputies from the East Los Angeles Sheriff Station responded to Sunol Avenue in regards to a gunshot victim at the location. Upon their arrival, they found a male Hispanic adult, Mr. Christian Alcantar, had sustained gunshot wounds. He was severely injured. Paramedics and fire department personnel responded and treated Mr. Alcantar at the scene. He was subsequently transported to an area hospital where he died as a result of his injuries.
My son was doing a favor for a friend. My son used to DJ, and a friend asked him for his equipment, if he could borrow it. And my son, being as the person as he was, he offered to take the equipment to the place, to take his car, and he stayed there because it just happened to be a party of a student of his, because my son used to be a coach. So they wanted him to stay there at the party.
He calls and he goes, Marlene, can I borrow your car? I have a bigger car than he does. And I said, okay. I'm just gonna DJ down the street, it's not that far. I said, all right.
As a result of our investigation, we determined that there had been a party at a private residence adjacent to where the shooting took place. Mr. Alcantar, along with several of his friends, oftentimes act as DJs for small parties at family members and friends' homes for various functions, whether it be get-togethers or birthday parties or what have you. The party was just simply attended by friends and family members of this birthday party. It lasted till the wee hours in the morning.
But prior to that, I was away on a trip visiting my mother because my father had just passed away. He sent me a text telling me about the party that he was in and how much he wanted me to be there and have fun and laughter with him, how he wanted to share that moment with me. That was about 1 o'clock in the morning.
At approximately 3 o'clock or so, Christian had begun to pack up his equipment and had started to load it into his vehicle, which was parked on the street adjacent to the residence where the party occurred. As Christian was loading his equipment is when the shooting took place.
And when I realized I had his text, I told my mother, and we were talking about him, what a great kid he was, and how proud I was to be his mother.
As Christian was beginning to wrap it up for the evening, he began packing up his equipment. I believe there were speakers and some other audio equipment and cables and whatnot. One of his friends was assisting him as he loaded the equipment and was actually out front of the residence at the time. And several other friends were back behind a small gate, which is located in front of the residence and somewhat obstructs the view, either from the residence or to the residence from the street. And according to witness accounts, he was standing on the passenger side, loading from the passenger side of his vehicle, which was parked against the curb. The suspect vehicle, occupied by approximately 3 individuals, stopped very close to where Christian's vehicle was parked. And that's when the shooter fired multiple times, ultimately striking Christian. He fell as a result of the gunshot wounds onto the sidewalk adjacent to his vehicle. When the shots were fired, Christian's friend, I believe, kind of ducked for cover in front of Christian's vehicle. And after the gunshots subsided, he ran over to see if he could render any aid, along with a couple other the partygoers who actually began administering CPR.
I remember getting a phone call in the morning from a cousin of mine. He goes, "Marlene, where's Chris?" And I said, "He should be downstairs asleep." "Are you sure?" I said, "Yeah, why?" And then he goes, "Because I heard some bad news. I heard he was at a party and he got shot." And I go, "No, not Chris." I ran downstairs, I skipped steps. I don't know how I made it down there, but I remember going down there and opening his door of his room, and he wasn't there. So I called the police station, and they told me that, yeah, there was a homicide on that street where he was at. So I could put 2 and 2 together, and I knew it was Chris.
I'm Los Angeles County Sheriff Lee Baca. The Los Angeles Sheriff's Department has partnered with the LAPD and other municipal police departments throughout our county to form the Los Angeles Regional Crime Stoppers organization. Crime Stoppers is an important law enforcement tool, a proactive approach to removing dangerous criminals from our streets. Each week on this television program, we will share the facts about unsolved cases, and you will have the opportunity to submit information that may help investigators without ever having to give your name. I encourage you to provide us any information you may have. I thank you for joining us and doing your part to make our community safer.
On August 22nd, 2010, Christian Alcantar was shot to death while loading equipment into his vehicle on Sunol Avenue in the city of East Los Angeles.
Approximately 7 a.m. on the 22nd, I received a call from my wife. And I remember picking up the phone and just hearing screaming in the background. And it was really hard for me to figure out what was going on. When I heard the words, "Ay Dios mío," he's gone, he's gone. Who's gone? And Christian's dead. Christian's dead. I hung up and I called Chris right away. I called his phone. And I remember leaving him a message. "If you're there, pick up. Call me back ASAP." I called him so many times, over and over and over.
My best friend is gone. Someone took him away from me, and I don't know why. Why would someone take such a good boy? He never harmed anyone. He was caring, he was loving, he had goals. People don't know how it is to have someone taken away in the way he was taken away. They robbed his life.
You never heal from this. You don't. People want to coin the phrase, well, you pick up your life and you move on. You don't really move on, because at every Christmas and every Thanksgiving and every family function, there's that empty chair, there's that empty plate, there's a permanent void. You don't move on.
Life is never normal again. It's like somebody chopped away a part of your heart, and it's never gonna be complete. And you don't know how it is until you live it.
Christian was a great kid. He was just a young adult, just going forward in life and doing everything right. He was a student worker. He assisted in teaching at area elementary school. He was loved by many friends and family members, had a very close family, and had a very large network of friends. And what Christian and his friends like to do is, they DJ'd quite a bit. And each of them had DJ nicknames for one another, and that's what he was doing the night of this incident, is helping out a friend as a DJ. He was not known to be affiliated with any illegal activity, whether it be gang involvement or any other such illegal activity. He was just a good kid from everybody we've spoken with.
My stepdaughter and I, we went to dress him out for the funeral. Looking at his face, imagining his hands that are never going to touch a board again, not being able to talk with him or shake his hand or watch him grow up, have kids. It should be the children burying the parents, not the parents burying the children. I was not shocked to see over 450 people at least there.
His funeral was full of people, and that told it all.
On August 22nd, 2010, Christian Alcantar was shot to death while loading equipment into his vehicle on Sunol Avenue in the city of East Los Angeles. The suspects in this case are described as male adults between the ages of 18 and the mid-20s, all Hispanic males. One of the individuals was seen wearing a baseball cap worn backwards and is described having a roundish face and a light complexion. The suspect vehicle is described as a mid-size compact, possibly import. Four-door, dark in color, possibly has tinted windows and is lowered.
My life has changed completely. To me, everything now is about Christian, finding the answers for Christian.
Justice will be a miracle. Justice will be everything to us. My son is never gonna be alive again, but justice has to be done.
Somebody in this community knows something. Somebody's afraid to talk, and they do not need to be.
You can be anonymous and no one has to know who you are. It would mean everything to me because I know how Chris was. I know how he was with justice, and I have a couple of his reports when he was in school about punishment for people, criminals. And then he put in that report, if that was me and that happened to my family, I would go do whatever I can to just find whoever did this to my family member. And that's basically what I'm doing and I'm trying to do.
Justice will come and justice will be swift. And this person may sit for the next 20 years on appeals, but the fact that they're off the street and cannot do this to another family, that's the end result, because this is where it's going to stop. But justice, I don't think you want to know my term of justice. And as I pointed out earlier, this person may sit for the next 20, 25 years or more on appeals, and they can sit in their little 9x12 cell with their TV and their little commissary. But that box is where they will live, and that box is where they will die.
If anyone has information regarding this incident and would like to contact law enforcement, you can reach the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department at area code 323-890-5500. And if you'd like to remain anonymous, you can always call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS.
After he passed away, I didn't want his things to just sit there. I didn't want it to be so quiet at the house. So now I started DJing. I do it for fun, but he got me into it and I love it. And I know it lives on with me. You know, I DJ now because of Chris.
This family is suffering, but you can help. Police are looking for a thin, light-complected Hispanic male, 18 to maybe 22 years old. He was traveling in a dark, compact car. If you have any information that can help solve this case, call LA Regional Crime Stoppers, the number 1-800-222-TIPS. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's edition of Crime Stoppers Case Files. And remember, we are here every week with more crimes and more families needing answers. These are your neighbors. This is your community, and you can make a difference.